Hey guys, just a quick video today just on DNA structure. I thought I'd go over that really briefly with you. It's not going to be in depth, but it might be some assistance if you're a little bit stuck out there. I'm sort of pointing at this article I found on Live Science talking about DNA structure. And even if you're not familiar with it, hopefully the style lesson's gone through this and you've got a bit more of an understanding. It can be a little confusing. It's really going around, if we read this, DNA is a molecule. It's made up of nucleotides, contains a phosphate group, and it can become a bit confusing. Essentially, your DNA instructions or genetic code makes you you. It's a blueprint for you. Okay, and sometimes all these other terms get a bit confusing. So just to help you out, let's go over some of the basics. So your DNA is found in your cell, in your nucleus of your cell. You generally won't see it until cells are replicated or copied in the process of mitosis or meiosis. DNA is usually in there, gets copied, and then it gets packaged in the form of chromosomes, which might be a term you've heard as well. And those chromosomes will go to each of the two new cells when they're formed, and DNA is in there with its instructions. Hopefully it copies correctly, and there's checks and balances to make sure that generally occurs, but we do sometimes get mutation. You get issues, chromosomes, and the DNA itself. More about that as you go through. Key things we want to take away, if you're a little confused or you're not sure, is your DNA is essentially a ladder, and that ladder has been twisted to form your double helix. All right. Key things to note. Yes, it does have these vertical lines. The horizontals are more important. The horizontals are all about these bases, and they come around or hang around in pairs. So if I look at one I got your double helix or your ladder and cut it in half and look at one of the verticals or one of the strands, you will have something like this. You might have this code, ATCG. Right? Your other strand will match accordingly. Now there's a link to this. The A will match with the T, and the T will match with the A. Okay, and just to make maybe this stick out a bit more, let's change that C and G to green if it decides to work. There we go, C, G. Guess what? C will match up with a G and G will match up with a C. So you get these pairs. Okay. Some of you might say, well, Mr. McKay, what happens if you have a G and can you get a T? Well, it'll try, but your body or your DNA, when it's copied, will look at this and go, that's not right. You can't do that. It'll check. However, sometimes it is not perfect. Make that say green. Sometimes you do get some issues in the form of those point mutations that occur, and there's more about that. Okay. So they're the key things. Double helix shape, those four bases, and the bases are in complementary pairs. All right. The other thing that you will talk about and hear about is this idea of codons and anticodons. Codons are three of those, so something like A, T, C. Three of those in a row forms a codon. Okay, and that codon will code for something called an amino acid. And guess what? Many of these codons or many amino acids will form a protein chain or something called a polypeptide chain. We just call it a protein to make life easier. All right. So a few things there. Hopefully it's helpful with the structure. That's your DNA, really simply put, and your DNA is a blueprint that makes you you. And the codes are how your body uses that DNA to code for different proteins to make different, allows you to build your body essentially when it comes down to it, to make you the individual that you are. I'm going to leave it there. Hope that's been useful, and I'll see you at some point in the not too distant future.